Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever part of the world you are joining this meeting from. I've learned over a period of time that the body heals in itself. And today we are going to talk about one of the techniques that will help you regain your health back and clear yourself of all the issues. And we have a keynote speech on that. But before that, let me give you all brief about Toastmasters because we have many guests who have joined, many non-Toastmasters. Toastmaster is an organization that was started almost a decade ago, somewhere about 98 years, something like that. And it has been helping people across the world, almost situated in 147 countries today. And it's helping people overcome fear of public speaking, improve their confidence, increase their leadership skills, and become better leaders. Where leaders are made is the tagline of this organization. It's a volunteer organization. Though we pay such a nominal fee, it's all about growing ourselves, helping each other with mentorship and also different skills. In any typical Toastmaster meeting, we have prepared speeches where people come prepared, and then we have impromptu speeches where people get to speak on the spot, where they ask a question and you need to answer that to help you prepare for those moments where you need to answer on the spot. And then we also have feedback. Well, many other parts of the life we are judged. People tell us this is not right, this has to improve, and etc. etc. But in Toastmaster meeting, we give constructive feedback that will help you to grow. That's the overall how a Toastmaster meeting works. All other things like we can customize as per our club. Sattvic Toastmaster is meant to help you not just improve your communication skills, but also help you to improve your lifestyle, healthy life. Because as they say, a healthy human being helps in construction of an healthy world. So let's start our meeting. Today we have certain role players who are going to help us in different parts. We have grammarian for today who will help us clean our language. Dr. Mary joining from Philippines will help us as a grammarian today. Dr. Mary, can you please introduce the word of the day and also tell us how you will help us as a grammarian?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Distinguished Toastmaster Raghu. The word of the day is going to come from thin air because I completely forgot about it. The word of the day would be healthy. The word healthy actually has two components, which is H-E-L-T-H-Y. If you separate it, it says heal thyself. Therefore, what we learn in medical school is that actually the body can heal itself. It's a simple word to use for the day. It is in line with the theme and the Toastmasters Club. Therefore, my word of the day is healthy. You can use it as heal thy as well. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mary, for that wonderful word of the day. Now, we need to time because time is what we respect as Toastmasters. That's the first discipline that we learn. And to help us today as timer, we have Guillermo James joining from California, United States. Guillermo, can you please help us how you are going to help us as timer?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Guillermo Jaimes, and I will be the timer today. During the speeches, table topics, and evaluations, I will be keeping track of the time. If you see this background, yes, this green background, it means that you have completed your required speaking time. If you see this background, it means that your time is almost done. And if you see this background, it means that your time is over. It does not mean that you have to stop speaking, but finish your points and start wrapping up if you haven't done so already. At the end of the meeting, I will give a report of everyone's times. Thank you.
you very much, Guillermo. Well, we have also an our counter role. The Toastmaster Shukrat, who is joining us, will help us to clean our speeches, especially the clarity of language. If you keep stuttering or use the words inadvertently, that will not help you in your speech. So Shukrat will help us. Shukrat, do you want to introduce your role?
Yes, in Toastmasters, not only in Toastmasters, while we are speaking, we use many types of filler words. To help to get rid of this filler words, I will note down your filler words and give the report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shukrat. Now it's time to start the keynote speech, Dr. Jay Sejpal. I'll not talk much because he will introduce himself, but before that, he's a Toastmaster for a few years now, and also he is working in one of the major health organization in India, and he's been following intermittent fasting almost for 3 years now and has seen tremendous results. Who else can watch and talk? The man who has practiced and also from medical background. Let me invite the keynote speaker for today, Dr. Jay Sejpal. Before that, can we ask Jay if he can see the timer cards?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to spotlight you.
Okay.
Good. Start, sir.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, all my Toastmaster friends and dear guests. So myself, Dr. Jay Sejpal, thanks Raghu for your kind introduction. And today, as we are going to have a first meeting on Sattvic Toastmaster, and Sattvic Toastmaster, as I understand, is living a healthy, natural way of lifestyle. So, what can be a better way to start this kind of meeting with introduction of intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting has become now buzzword, and you might be listening this kind of advice, or maybe you might be coming across many people who will tell you they are following intermittent fasting, but there is a lot of confusion around this word. So let us today explore the basic of intermittent fasting and what is the science behind it so that you can understand what is exactly intermittent fasting and whether you yourself are following intermittent fasting or not. So with that, I let me share my screen.
I posted a question that the speaker has asked me to ask you all.
Yes. So before we start the speech, I would like to all give me your understanding about intermittent fasting. So there in the chat box, you can see that there are four options which are given, and let me give you an answer once you finish the poll. So I would request you all to give your understanding. What do you understand intermittent fasting is? Fasting between the three meals, like avoiding snacks between three meals, or you start the fasting just after dinner and you don't eat anything until you have the morning breakfast, or you fast for 16 hours or even longer than that, or very long fasting like 24 to 36 hours or 48 hours. Yeah, so I can see the responses. I would encourage all people to give your responses. So many people are saying 16 hours or more. Yes, three is the answer which I am getting. Some people are saying that all of above is correct. No breakfast is intermittent fasting, somebody is saying. Yeah. Okay. So we see that there are various kind of views for intermittent fasting. But let me tell you, see, if you are not having a snack in between three meals, I won't say that you are following the intermittent fasting. So that is not a correct approach. But when I discuss with the various people, they might be feeling that, okay, I am avoiding the snack in between three meals. That is intermittent fasting. So that is not. Maybe like when you are doing a 12 hours of fast, you are not eating anything after dinner, and you are following the fast till the morning, that may be considered intermittent fasting. But I would say for getting an optimum health benefit, it will not give you many benefits of intermittent fasting. But still, maybe if you want to be happy yourself and you want to tell that I am following intermittent fasting, you can tell that 12 hour of fasting is intermittent fasting you are doing. But ideally, for getting a maximum benefit, good benefit of intermittent fasting, I would recommend at least that 16 hours or more than 16 hours of fasting you should be following. And for very good benefit, or if you are having a obesity or some chronic diseases, or you are suffering from diabetes, if you want to control your diabetes, for all this kind of various maximum benefit, longer duration of fasting is also recommended. So now let us come to different approaches for the intermittent fasting. When you look at the intermittent fasting, various physician across world and dietitian who are understanding the science of intermittent fasting, they are recommending two different type of approaches. One is called time restricted eating, and there is a eating window. You don't eat for particular duration of time, and then you can eat during particular window of time. This is one of the most popular intermittent fasting method. It would be relatively easy to follow this kind of time restricted approach, and it is also called eating window approach. So there are different protocols for this kind of approach. 16/8 is 16 hour of fasting and 8 hours you can eat. So you can have two meal. Suppose you skipped your breakfast, you started with the lunch around 12 o'clock. So you can eat up to 8 o'clock. So that will be considered 16/8 protocol. Further, little bit extensive protocol is 19/5 protocol. 19 hour of fasting, 5 hour of eating window. Again, 24 is also one such protocol. And some would go into extensive mode of this kind of eating window approach, and they may fast for 22 to 23 hours and may eat during a very narrow window of 1 to 2 hours. So this kind of approach, whether you are following for 20 to 23 hours fasting, and you are eating in the window of 1 to 4 hours, that also is called one meal a day. Because in this narrow of 1 to 4 hours, you cannot have two major meals. So meal a day, which is also a very good approach for getting a benefit of intermittent fasting. Now, there is another extensive approach which is also called alternate day fasting protocol, or long fasting, or it is also called up and down day approach. In that, again, you can have two kind of approaches. When there is your down day, it means that you are fasting, and you can have only up to 500 calorie during the down day. And another option for down day will be that you don't eat anything for 36 to 42 hours. So even you don't eat 500 calories, you do entire fast for 36 to 42 hours. And here also there are different schedules. Some people will say that 5 day they will eat regularly, and 2 days will be down days out of entire week of 7 days. 4 up days during which you can eat regularly, and 3 down days during which you have to do the fast. Or in that, even extensive approach can be alternate day fasting. So all this kind of approach, if you are following it, you can say yourself like, or you can understand that at least you will get all the benefits of intermittent fasting which are there. At least I would suggest that at least somebody can start with at least 15 to 16 hours if they want to start, which will be relatively easy, and then they can go up to even higher duration of fasting, or sometimes they can even try alternate day or 36 to 42 hours. But I would recommend that in case if you want to start and if you are suffering from any chronic disease, you should consult your doctor first before starting fasting. And you should start slow, and then you should gradually increase your duration of fasting. Now, there is a very many misconception around the fasting. When I discuss with the people, they will say that they are doing fasting, intermittent fasting since long time, but they are not seeing any benefit. When I ask them how do they do fasting, some people will say that I start eating at 9 o'clock and I finish eating at evening 8 o'clock. Okay, so that is around 12 to 13 hours. You are not supposed to get many benefits. You will maintain your good health, but you will not get many benefits of fasting. Okay, so some people would say that, okay, I eat only 2 meals a day, but I have just one tea. I don't do breakfast. I have tea with milk and sugar. So they keep on, some people are doing only 1 meal a day, but they keep on having a milk based coffee or milk based tea with sugar during the entire day. So this is not a proper approach. You should be having a clean fast. The approach which is called is clean fasting. So now it is very essential you understand that during the fasting window, whatever window you are following, 16 hours, 20 hours, or alternate day fasting, or long duration of fasting of around 36 to 42 hours, you should have clean fast. Now, what do you understand by clean fast? If you are taking only water, black coffee, which is not flavored coffee or flavored water, any plain green tea without any flavor, yes, you can have. And you cannot have flavored water, or sometimes people will also have diet soda. Diet soda will have artificial sweetness. So they say that there is a no calorie. Actually, there is no calorie, but sweet taste when goes into your mouth, your body will start secreting insulin. And once there is an insulin secretion, your metabolism is changed. It is not similar to the metabolism which is there during the fasting. So for having a very clean fast, you should avoid all fruit, sweets, flavors, flavored water. Even you should not have artificial sweetness. You cannot even have a sweet taste gum or mints. So this is very, very important area to understand. Many people do the fasting and they don't understand this, the concept of clean fasting. They will not get benefit of having fasting, and they will feel frustrated after some time that they are not having any benefit of fasting. Actually, fasting is not a problem, but the way you are doing the fast is causing the problem. Now, very important thing to understand, like why and how intermittent fasting works. Many of people might have tried that calorie in, calorie out. They understand that our traditional understanding was that a body is just one big compartment. You put the calories in, you put the calories out. That and remaining calories will be there as a fat in the body. But this is not a very ideal or good concept to understand about the body. And according to this one compartment model, what doctors initially in the previous day used to advise, that you eat small meals, you eat less number of calories, and you spend more and more calories, you exercise more, and you will be fine. But you might have seen, and you might have tried yourself also, and you might have seen many people who keep following this calorie in, calorie out, and they try workout more, they restrict the calorie much, but they still not getting in the shape. They are not, they are still having a diabetes or pre-diabetic condition, inflammatory diseases in the body, and they are not having any advantage. And actually, if you want to understand the body really, the ideal model is two compartment model. In this two compartment model, for your simplification, I have given the cartoon which will make it easy for you to understand. For understanding two compartment model, we need to understand that body stores the energy in two different form. One is called glycogen, another is called body fat. When there is an excess of amount of glucose or sugar in our body, that body converts it into a glycogen. So glycogen is a long chain of sugar, modified form of sugar, which is easily available for body to use. And this glycogen is getting stored inside the liver. And another storage for body for energy is body fat. And fat also, there is a large amount of storage is there inside the body in form of fat. Now, when you eat anything, body will digest it and convert it into a glucose and various basic components, protein, and if there is a fat, also there is a fat. Okay, so most of calorie you consume, it will be stored in form of glycogen inside the liver, which will be easily available for body to use. And you can compare it with a refrigerator of at your home for your easy understanding. Now, when there is an excess of amount of glycogen is there, glucose is there, more energy is there, then insulin comes into the picture, and insulin converts excess amount of energy inside body as a fat, and it's stored as a body fat. Now you can compare this body fat as a deep freezer. If there is an excess amount of grocery at your home, you will go into a deep freezer, you lock it into a deep freezer, and it will not be easily available for body to use. So now, if you are following this kind of a method, that you are eating a less amount of calorie and you are having a frequent meals in every day, but still you are eating carbohydrate, and when you are eating sugar, what will happen? That all those calories will be either stored as glycogen in the liver, and there will be a secretion of insulin. As soon as you eat something sweet, you eat carbohydrate, you eat frequently, there is an insulin secretion in the body. And this insulin will convert the excess amount of energy into body, and it will not allow your body to use a fat. So your fridge is full, you will not go into the deep freezer. So even if you eat less amount of calories, insulin will be still there because you are eating frequently, you are having a carbohydrate, you are having a sugar. So insulin secretion will make sure that you don't use body fat, and you only can use glycogen and glucose inside the body. So that is a problem with conventional approach of calorie in, calorie out. And what happens that despite of having a body fat, body is not possible for body to use body fat, and insulin is suppressing this. And what happens that calorie, if you reduce the amount of calorie you consume, then your body will go into a suppression of the metabolism. So and despite that, you will not be able to lose weight and lose the body fat. So this is a problem which is happening with a traditional approach of using calorie in, calorie out model. Now, if you really want to use your body fat, what you should be doing, you should first get rid of insulin. For getting rid of insulin, fasting is very best approach. When you stop eating and start fasting for longer duration, for 16 to 19 to 20 hours, what happens that whatever amount of energy which was there inside your refrigerator as a glycogen inside the liver, it will be used out. Okay, and then uh, it will be used out, and your insulin is not there. So that excess amount of storage which is there as a fat will be consumed, and absence of insulin will allow for body fat to be used, and glycogen is already depleted, so that it will be easily, body will be easily move the fat and fat will be used as a energy source. So this is the reason that with the intermittent fasting, reducing insulin and depleting glycogen will allow you to move the body fat. Now there are different type of hormones in our body, which is called anabolic hormone and catabolic hormone. Anabolic hormone help us to build the body from basic components like protein, carbohydrate, and fat. And catabolic hormone will allow usage of the stored energy from the body. Now there is a natural balance which is there inside the body for anabolic and catabolic hormone. Now what happens that when you eat excessively, you eat sugar and carbohydrates, insulin will increase. And because of this increase in the insulin, there is a derangement of metabolism and balance between the catabolic and anabolic hormone. So to compensate the increased amount of insulin, there will be a decrease in growth hormone, decrease in sex hormones, increase in glucagon, steroid, and thyroid hormone, which leads to many hormonal problems. It will lead to many different diseases. And now the best approach for avoiding hyperinsulinemia, increased amount of insulin level, best approach is diet and fasting. In diet, you should take care that processed carbohydrates, sugar, you should avoid, and you should have prolonged period of fasting. That is the best way to reduce the amount of insulin in the body. Now, there are plenty of benefits which are there, and we right now cannot go into the detail of each one, but briefly I would mention those benefits. When you have fasting, definitely you are reducing the insulin. It can lead to remission of metabolic syndrome. The metabolic syndrome is causing all the different problem, and which is mainly there because of a derangement of various hormones, and mainly due to increased amount of insulin in the body. And this excessive insulin ultimately leads to exhaustion of pancreas in the body, which leads to type 2 diabetes. And with the intermittent fasting, you can reduce reduce the amount of insulin in the body, and you can regain the sensitivity of body to insulin. So there are various studies which shows that you can reduce or control significantly type 2 diabetes with the fasting. It is having an anti-inflammatory effect. For autoimmune disease, inflammation is problem. There also, fasting is very much helpful. All the benefit of cardiovascular good health of heart, reducing the blood pressure, all these benefits you can get. With the fasting, there is a secretion of hormone inside the brain, which is called brain-derived neurotropic factor, which helps in promoting a health of brain, which increases the neuroplasticity, increases the cognitive power of the brain, and prevent neurodegeneration, which protects you from the neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson disease. Fasting also reduces visceral fat. Visceral fat is the fat which is there surrounding your viscera and which is responsible for bad health and various cardiovascular problems and inflammation. Fasting reduces the visceral fat. And with the fasting, naturally you can control hunger and you can have satiety with the limited amount of food you are having. So that is a natural way of controlling hunger and controlling impulsive eating. And also there is a benefit of having a advantage of resetting the gut microbiome. Gut microbiome is now known to cause various diseases when gut microbiome is not healthy. It is a culture of microbial culture inside your gut, and fasting is proven to improve the health of gut microbiome. And this is one of the very important advantage of fasting, which is called autophagy. Autophagy is the form of cellular cleansing. When we are fasting for the long time, there are no energy resources which or any nutrition which is going for long duration of time. So body becomes creative and it start using various degenerative cellular garbage for the use. And when there is a autophagy is activated, it can protect you from various diseases like cancer, liver disease, aging, metabolic syndrome, and neurodegeneration. So this is a transformation of myself when I started doing intermittent fasting in September 19. I reduced the weight significantly. I was having some inflammatory problems in my gut that were came under control. I started slowly with 18 to 19 hour of fasting. I started with the 15 hours and then went up to 18 to 19 to 20 hours, and still I am maintaining it. And I even had a great benefit of having a energy throughout the day. That is one more additional advantage I would say I was having with the intermittent fasting. So with that, I would conclude that you should start slow in consultation with your doctor. Choose whichever timing or whichever schedule of intermittent fasting is suitable for you and maintain it for long duration. And we can say that when you fast, you should alternatively feast also during your eating window and keep repeating it. You will get all the benefit of having intermittent fasting. And these are some various resources which you can use before you want to start having intermittent fasting. You can read all these very good resources. With that, I would conclude and I would hand it over to Raghu.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jay. We can remove the spotlight, and I request anybody, if you have any questions, we can take about 3 to 4 questions for Dr. Jay.
Jay, I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, in your presentation, you said clean fasting,
Yeah.
which does not include somebody taking a tea or green tea with artificial sugar
Artificial sweetener. Yeah.
or
Artificial sweetener should be
sweetener.
avoided.
Okay, but is it strictly? But I have read somewhere else that artificial sweetener has got 0 calorie and which will not break your fast. Is it true?
Yeah, it is having a 0 calorie, but you should understand the physiology of insulin secretion. As soon as you put something in your mouth which is having a sweet taste, you will have an insulin secretion, and insulin is the culprit. So, like your metabolism is deranged, and as soon as you have insulin, you might have understood now with this session that insulin doesn't allow fat to move from the fat storage. So that is a problem. And our target by doing fasting for long duration is mainly to suppress the insulin rather than not having calorie.
Okay. Okay.
With the sweet taste, if your insulin is getting secreted, you are not having an advantage of having clean fasting.
Okay. Thank you.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, please go on.
Yes, Ashwini.
So actually, I wanted to know what will be for a disease-free body or ideal weight. Fasting is how much time is important? Ideal timing for fasting for disease-free body or like me, any.
Yeah, like if you feel that you are already healthy and you are not overweight,
Yeah.
maintaining 16 hours of fasting and getting all the advantage of fasting, at least
Okay.
16 hour, I would suggest, based on
16
my
is
understanding.
minimum.
Yeah,
16.
16 is
Okay.
minimum. Only 12
Okay.
hour fasting will not give much advantage. I told about the concept of autophagy. Autophagy is very beautiful mechanism of self-healing.
Okay.
Okay, so for autophagy to be activated, you would need at least 18 hours of fasting. Before that, it
Oh.
will not be there. But yes, even with the 16 hours, your like glycogen storage will be depleted, and you will have some advantage of ketosis. Your fat
Okay.
will start moving, and you will start using the fat. So ketosis and some amount of autophagy you may have, but at least if you really want to have benefit of fasting and autophagy, then 18 hours. But for maintaining good health, I think 16 hours is
16 hours.
good enough.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwini. We have a question from Haran. He's asking, the question is, he's diabetic for 10 years now. can he go on fasting? He want to come out of his medicine and also reduce his weight. Is there something that he can do, being diabetic too?
In patients of diabetes type 2 diabetes, there are very good benefit, but if you are trying to be totally medication free, it may take a longer time, and maybe you should also, under medical supervision, you can go for long fasting. So that is one concept, but you should consult your doctor first, and you should maintain at least all the medication until you get all the benefits of having fasting. If you are insulin dependent totally, then it would be, you should be very cautious before you start, and you should consult your doctor. And here again, I would like to emphasize that don't take this as a medical advice. Consult your doctor first if you are having a chronic disease for since long time before you try fasting. And up to 24, 36, even I would say that up to 48 hours of fasting you can do at home, but if you start gradually. But if you, like, suddenly, if you are eating every day for 3 meals and you start doing 36, it can be a difficult and maybe even dangerous. You, when you want to start, you start very gradually for 15 to 16 hours, and then you gradually go upwards. And if you want to try, there are some regimen for extended fasting of 3 to 7 days also, but that is advisable that you do this kind of fasting under medical supervision. You don't do it yourself at home.
Thank you, Dr. Jay. We have a couple of more questions. So even I have one question. So you talked about autophagy.
Yeah.
So when you said autophagy, so how does it kick? So I've read so many things about autophagy across different articles. When
Mhm.
does it kick, and is there something that possible through intermittent fasting? For example, right now I'm doing kind of OMAD, which is like 1 meal a day, and that's 20 hours a day. So is that possible through this fasting, or do we need to go extensive 24 hours plus fasting?
Yeah, some amount of autophagy will start. They would say that various literature says around 18 to 20 hours of fasting. After that, autophagy will start. Autophagy and ketolysis go hand in hand. Like, once your glycogen storage is depleted, your fat burning will start. Ketosis or lipolysis will start around 18 hours onward. And during that time, some amount of autophagy will be there. But yes, you are right that if you want much advantage of autophagy, you want that more and more amount of autophagy is activated, maybe you should try 24 and beyond. But again, beyond 48 hours, I wouldn't advise anyone to do by themselves without medical supervision.
Sure. Thank you, Jay. We have a couple of more questions. Narsima asks whether swallowing our saliva will it stimulate secretion of insulin while the intermittent
Mm,
fasting?
No, no, no. Like, we can have water, we can have flavorless drinks also, which is black coffee or green tea without flavor. All this kind of thing will not stimulate insulin secretion until and unless you are having some flavor or some calorie. It will not be secreting insulin.
What about lemon water?
Lemon water is in a gray zone. We can't say actually, but like, again, it is flavor, so it, there are chances. We are not sure about few things like lemon and all.
Okay,
But
sure.
yeah, some things like artificial sweetness, sweet taste is absolutely no.
Thank you. Vrinda has a question for you. How to deal with the weight loss plateau in intermittent fasting?
Okay. So in when you go achieve weight loss plateau, maybe you should look at the food, type of food you are eating. When I described about like how to suppress insulin, one way is do the fasting, and another way whenever you eat, you avoid carbohydrate. You can eat protein and fat containing diet more, and avoid processed food and carbohydrate and sugar at all, even during your eating window. Then maybe you will be surpass the weight loss plateau. And you can experiment also with the different schedules. Like if you are following suppose 19 hours and 5 hour window of fasting, and you hit the plateau of weight loss, then you can experiment. Maybe you someday you can go up to 24 or 36. You change the schedule for some weeks. You may make your window even more narrower. Like from 19, you can try to go to 20, 22, and for some more time, like within 1 or 2 months, your body will respond, and uh, you may tackle the weight loss plateau.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jay. In the interest of time, we need to forego other questions asked.
Yes.
We will continue this topic with more details and with more advanced details in the next probably next meeting. But for
Thank you.
now, we'll continue. And then thank you, Dr. Jay, for all the details. I'm sure you have enlightened us with major items necessary for us to start our working on intermittent fasting. For now, let's dwell into the next part of the meeting, which is table topics. It's all about impromptu speaking. As I keep saying every time, life is not a prepared speech. You cannot go prepared everywhere, but we can be prepared with practicing in Toastmasters on table topics. I request everyone to keep your video on because that is the first step to overcome your issues with public speaking or facing audience. Thank you very much. I want to see all your beautiful faces. I have a question, but when I'll have your sample by when a Toastmaster will answer the question, and then one of you can come up and answer the other questions. I'll start asking, do we have Dr. Mary? Saurabh, do you want to answer the question?
Yes, Raghu.
Okay. What is your take on health is wealth, Saurabh? What is your take on health is wealth?
Before I start, is it a table topic or a question before table topic?
Table topic.
Okay. I thought you will be asking the topic next. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We all know about one of the famous characters from the history, Alexander. And I really don't know how many of you are aware. He said one statement, when I die, please make sure that you take my body to the graveyard, and while doing all the rituals, you should keep my hands out. Do you know why? If you are speaking on mute, it's all right. The reason is he wanted to tell the world that all the money, all the success, all the glory I have achieved all through my life, at the end of the day, is going to be here in this land only. No matter I am Alexander, I will go back to the home of the Lord with empty hands and nothing along with myself. So, my dear friends, with this small story, I want to tell all of you the wealth is not all the money, all the success that we achieve. The wealth, in my definition, is comprising of three things. One, the character that we make. Two, the health that we earn. And three, all the good work that we do for others. Because these are the things that people will remember you even when you are not there. Keeping the character and all the good things that we do aside, health is one of the most soft aspects because in our day-to-day life, normally right from morning till the evening, we are busy in our office work, in our family work, and in many other things. And we try to run behind those items which are probably not that important, but we have given them more worth. We ignore health, assuming we will take care of this later or tomorrow. Let's eat some good food, sweets, or something else. And we keep doing something which is not good for us. And by the time we realize that we were doing mistakes, it is too late. And in that situation, all the money you have been earning throughout the life will not help you. Health is wealth. Raghu.
Thank you very much, Saurabh. I invite guests who have not been Toastmasters so far. Shashidhar, I have you on list, but I will ask you. But let me see if anybody is interested here. Vrunda, will you be interested? Ashwini, Pincho, anybody who wants to try? Vrunda?
Well, I would like to. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I would just like to quote "Health is wealth" in my wisdom of what I've learned all these years. Throughout my career, I've been a working woman all throughout for 30 years now. And throughout my career, the importance was at career, at family, and everything else. When I was younger, it used to be studies, but health was always taken for granted. Because you were healthy, I never thought that you have to work towards your health. And now that as you are aging and as you are seeing the effects of processed food, using gadgets, your lifestyle has changed with all the internet and whatever else that we are. It's no more an active life until and unless you change your lifestyle. So that's where I've realized the value of what health is wealth. Like how much ever you go up in your career, you can earn more money, you can do whatever, but you cannot enjoy it until and unless you're healthy. And so, in the literal terms, health is wealth. And if you are not working towards your health, you might have wealth, but no health. So, health is wealth, is in my opinion. Thank you.
Wonderful take, both Saurabh and Vrunda. Let me ask another question. Shashidhar, for you, did you ever fast in your life so far? And what was your experience?
Thank you, Raghu, for this wonderful topic. I mean, it's quite relevant for me, and I have lost almost 20 kilograms in last 1.5 year. So, yeah, fasting has been phenomenal in helping me to lose weight quite drastically. So, yeah, I have fasted for long duration of time. I have fasted for my maximum is 3 days, but after listening to Dr. Jay, I mean, I cannot consider it as fasting because I used to have what you said, asked a question like lemon water. I used to have honey lemon water for those 3 days. Yeah, without any flavor thing, I have maximum 1.5 day, 36 hours I have fasted. So yeah, I mean, if I have felt that after 2 days, I felt that deficiency. I used to have weakness in my hands, and the weak. I used to feel a lot of weakness, but for 2 days I was comfortable doing 2 days fasting without any problems. I used to have that extra energy, and I mean, the alertness you have when you are fasting, that is phenomenal. I mean, if you eat continuously like normal person who does not fast, that person's level of alertness compared to the person who fasts is phenomenal. I mean, you can think that you have reached a next level of your using your brain. So I feel that fasting helps you not only just losing your weight, but it helps you to sharpen your mind, sharpen your brain to achieve greater things in life. Thank you, Raghu.
Thank you very much, Shashi. One last question. Who wants to go? Anybody from guests? Okay, Dr. Mary, if you want to try this. Fasting for thoughts. What is your opinion on that? Fasting for thoughts.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Fasting?
Fasting of our thought process. What is your opinion on that?
Table topic master. I'm not able to hear you clearly, but I think you said fasting of our thoughts. Great. This is very much in line with my way of thinking, which is I always believe in mind detox. That is a form of fasting where I ensure that one of my methods that I use is I ensure that if someone comes up with negativity, I will turn that into something that is positive. If someone tells me something negative about somebody, I always make it a point to turn that into a non-judgmental, positive experience. That experience helps me and also helps the other person who has told me something negative about somebody. Now let's look at areas where, I do digital detox as well. So you can call that a digital fast. Now, when I think of something, there are so many thoughts that run through our mind every single day. It is believed that every person has about 60 to 70,000 thoughts, and it's very difficult to control it. The only way I believe that I can control it or anyone else can control it would be through mindfulness. Even this morning, I was telling one of my patients, you've got to be mindful about what you think about your body. You've got to be, of course, you can't pretend to be positive when a person is having COVID, for example. And in fact, I just saw a new case with the COVID tongue. It's something new in COVID. So the person is worried because the tongue swells up, he's going to have breathing difficulties and he's going to have issues. Now, while we try to heal the person with pharmaceutical drugs or even with other methods, one of the methods I really tell my patients is to think correctly, because at the end of the day, our health is always mind over matter. Back to you, table topics.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mary. With that, we conclude our table topic session. Now it's time to get feedback. As I keep saying, feedback is the breakfast for champions. Now is the right time too. It's 8 a.m. in India. I'll invite our first speech evaluator, or the only speech evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Pramod, to evaluate Jay's speech today.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Toastmasters and future Toastmasters. If I say that was a very good, healthy speech or a healthy session, I am sure that Dr. Mary Thomas would agree with me. She's also a doctor and she knows what is the benefit of intermittent fasting. And this is a hot topic of discussion among all the youngsters, or even people with different medical conditions and those who want to keep their body in shape. It's a relevant topic. So congratulations for taking a very relevant topic for the time to have an opening session for a new Toastmasters club. Okay. Jay, you are a doctor. I was not having any apprehensions about the content of your speech. I'm sure that it is the next level. So I have noticed that it is in a Toastmasters evaluation, if I approach in a normal way for a 5 to 7 minute speech, it would be injustice for a long speech like 80 to 20 minutes. So I'm just considering some different aspects. So what is the most difficult things in a 20-minute speech or a 40-minute speech is to get the audience attention completely. Here you got the complete attention of the audience, and that was corroborated, or the testimony is that you got many questions from each and every slide you presented. So that means people were attentive and a lot of questions. So the audience engagement was totally complete. And second thing, I noticed that during the time of your speech, there were an attendance of 33, 34 people. So when you completed your speech, the number of people, they started leaving from the meeting, and it reached up to a level of 23, 24. That also shows that they were interested in this particular main session, and they got what they wanted to get it. So in a way, audience engagement was really good. Second, use of visual aids. It's a classical example of reflecting something without words or with lesser words. So you used a PowerPoint presentation which has clearly described what you wanted to convey. In the fridge, so there are different particles. That image captured in my mind. I still remember. I may not be remembering what you said after that, but that image is there. It is a freezer. Then there are 3 other more cubicles where you kept your daily food, and also it is the fat is frozen there. So that concept you have beautifully presented with pictures. So visual aids, you successfully used visual aids, and that even enhanced the quality and success of your presentation. Third is audience question. You answered all the questions clearly. Orally also, you answered all the questions. Raghu, after announcing that we have time, we have no time, we have time to go for the another session also, you are continuing answering the questions through the chat, and you satisfied everybody with questions. I'm sure that none of the questions are unanswered. I just have one simple suggestion for you. That's about the time management. While going for such a hot topic or discussion and all, you should keep more time for questions. That's my. And your presentation was quite understandable, which needed a little bit of explanation. People they understood everything clearly. It would have been nice if you kept either some 10 minutes more, or you keep 10 minutes for question and answer sessions. That's all from my side. I wish you all the best. I'm looking forward to have more such exciting topics from different speakers on the same topic. It is going to help all of us, definitely. And I'm really inspired by the story of Shashidhar also. I'm also thinking how I can reduce 20 kg in 1 year. Thank you so much. Back to you, JC.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pramod. Now it's time to see how we are doing on meeting part. Let me invite our grammarian for today, Dr. Mary Thomas, to see how we are doing on grammar.
Toastmaster of the day. I don't really have much to say because I think everyone spoke well and also used simple language that was understandable and correct grammatically, in syntax, in whatever method that the vocabulary as well. I didn't really see anything that needed correction. I heard words like go back to the Lord. Health is wealth, which is so common. It's a cliche actually now. To achieve greater things in life, this fact is frozen. I would think it's frozen in the evaluator's mind. I really didn't see. I really didn't see anything else. I thank you for those who use the word of the day, which is healthy, easy to use. That's about it for my report. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mary. Posted a Google form. I request everyone to share your feedback and intent if you're interested to join this club as a member. Now, I invite our timer for today, Guillermo Hames, to share his timer report.
Great job, everyone. These are the times. Jay's speech was 24 minutes and 41 seconds. Moving on to table topics. Saurabh spoke for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Vrunda for 1 minute and 19 seconds. Shashindar for 1 minute and 37 seconds. Mary Thomas for 2 minutes and 16 seconds. And finally, the evaluation, Pramod spoke for 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's why I keep saying DTM, don't time me. Now it's time to see how we are doing an R counter report, and let me invite Toastmaster Shukrit for his report.
Yeah. In the prepared speeches, Jay spoke so smoothly. It was a wonderful speech by him, and I was really excited to find filler words, but I couldn't find any of those. Really excellent speech. And coming to the table topics, Saurav, only one time you used Vrunda couple of times, Shashidhar 3 times, and Mary Thomas no ask. And evaluator Pramod gave a wonderful evaluation. I couldn't find any ask. Thank you. This is my report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Time to get feedback from our guests who are